Am I the a-hole for moving back out after my parents demanded I follow their rules? This is my first post and I'm on mobile, so apologies if I get it wrong. I 22 male just finished college and went back to my hometown while I figure out what I want to do next. I was planning to share an apartment with my old friends, but my parents wanted me to move in to help them out. COVID has hit them hard and are struggling to pay their bills, so they wanted me to move in and pay rent. I said okay, because I wanted to help them out. It all went well until 3 days after I moved in. My mother came in around 9 PM, saying I had enough screen time and need to go to bed. I thought this was ridiculous, because I'm an adult paying rent. They have no right to demand this. She said you're living under my roof. I make the rules. I went along with it for the night, and the next morning I went and took my laptop back from their room. She proceeded to ground me for disobeying her authority. I had enough of this, called the people I was going to room with and asked if they still had a spot. They said yes, so I packed up and moved in with them. Now my family is hounding me for not supporting my family. You're not the a-hole. Lois McMaster Bujold has a quote about adulthood that I like. Adulthood isn't an award they'll give you for being a good child. You can waste years trying to get someone to give that respect to you, as though it were a sort of promotion or raise in pay. If only you do enough. If only you are good enough. No, you have to just take it. Give it to yourself, I suppose. Say, I'm sorry you feel like that, and walk away. But that's hard. They can't have you as an adult and have you as a child at the same time. At 22, parental authority should be taking an advisor role, not a dominator one. A lot of parents find this transition difficult, though frankly they should have started working on it years ago. But it being difficult for them is their problem, not yours. You're not causing fights. You're not straining against their rules. You're just refusing to be put into a position where you have to submit. That's reasonable, mature behavior. Oh, this is ridiculous. Absolutely, you're not the a-hole. You're a 22-year-old college graduate, not a kid living under your parents' roof. I'm guessing they were always like this, but you probably hoped that your being a college graduate and paying rent would have changed the dynamic a bit. I would absolutely not move back in. They're treating you like a child. You're not the a-hole, you are a rent-paying adult. Of course be respectful to your parents, but come on, limiting screen time, taking your laptop. That is just trying to control you. I don't even understand where they are coming from either. I'm a parent, my kids are over 20. Sometimes they come back to stay, we only ask rent if they are feet employed, otherwise it's whatever, and we pay all the other bills, incorporated food if they want. They can stay up to daylight and 4 AM on a work night if they choose, because they are adults. There's no real rules other than if they want to eat with us, they need to let me or the wife know in advance so we can make extra. You're not the a-hole. That's absolutely ridiculous. Seems like she has control issues or still views you being a lot younger. My parents stopped grounding me at like 16. If you were doing something to disrespect them in their own house, then I'd understand. But simply being on the internet, yeah, no. You're 22. This would be bizarre, even if you weren't paying rent. Once 18, you're an adult and have the right to demand respect. Doubly so if you pay rent. Your parents have the typical problem where they can't respect their adult children even when they are paying, and are the assholes because of it. If your family's hounding is too much, block them. As an adult, you can never be the asshole for moving out, regardless of circumstances, reasons, or no reason at all. But you sure have a good reason here. You're not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole. Your mom is treating you like you're 5 years old when you're 22 minus. I don't think she understands just how much independence you get, and growing up you do when you're away at college. So yeah, living at home again when you're an adult is tough. But 9 PM bedtime, feck that. Go live with people who know how old you are. You're not the a-hole. You were doing them a favor and they tried treating you like a child. Do not move back in with them. It's not your problem if they can't afford to live in this my house. My rules lead you to make a decision to move out. If any family complain, tell them exactly what happened and ask when they are going to help them out. I laugh at parents who are like this. What do they think is going to happen? You're not the a-hole. You are an adult paying your way. However, sounds like your mom was struggling with the new family dynamic. Before moving out, I would have spoken to her, made it clear you are an adult paying your way, and expected to be treated as such. If she couldn't deal with that, then move out. You're not the a-hole. If they are mad about support, they should have supported you. If you're paying rent, you should have more freedom. Living life like you're 16 and being controlled while paying them for it is absolutely insane and the most unhealthy thing for your relationship. This should have been a boundary set before you moved, in that you yourself set, but you're young, and it's understandable you wouldn't think of it. Take it as a learning experience. You're not the a-hole. Supporting family shouldn't mean having to live under blatantly unreasonable rules. Just because you are her child doesn't mean she has any business treating you as a child whom she has total authority over. And unlike her child, who is essentially trapped in that situation, you can move. Just be firm in explaining that your mom expected you to follow rules you didn't agree with as they were unreasonable and controlling. So the best option was to move out. Even if you weren't a paying tenant, the rules would have been appalling. My house, my rules works for reasonable expectations like picking up after yourself, keeping noise down after a certain time, and who makes final decisions about repairs and renovations. Not telling a 22-year they've had too much screen time and grounding them. LOL. Sorry, but it's funny to imagine a full-grown adult getting told to go to bed like a 10-year-old. I can imagine your face. Obviously your mom hasn't let go of the fact you're an adult. Either that or she's a massive control freak. If you go back, you'd better make sure they understand you're a tenant, not their baby. Oh. And don't actually move out of your current place, because I'm betting your mom won't last a week of treating you like an adult. You're not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole. In all honesty, what OP did to handle this situation feels mature to me. Once his mother said, "You're living under my roof. I make the rules." He was like, okay. He went along with it for the night, packed his stuffs and moved out. There was no reason for him to bother arguing and escalating it. He moved out, and that's all you need to do. Seriously, point communicating with someone who's having a power trip over you when you were there to help. It's their own fault that they lost the support from you. They can figure out what to do next themselves. You're not the a-hole. When I got an internship in my parents' town, Jay was going to get an apartment. Mom said to live at home and save the rent. Big mistake. Still wish I'd gotten the apartment, and it's been over 20 years. You made the right decision. Just because they are your parents doesn't mean they have the right to control you, given you're not a child. Add in that you were paying rent, and that's doubly ridiculous that they want that control. Only thing you maybe could have done better would be to have a conversation about boundaries before moving in. But thinking they can control your screen time and ground you for not obeying is a boundary that, frankly, shouldn't need to be discussed. Wow, you're not the a-hole. You're an adult and can make your own decisions. While I agree that if you were coming in drunk, having parties that kept them awake, was leaving the kitchen bathroom filthy, etc., but monitoring your screen time, ridiculous. Your mother clearly gave you a choice: follow her rules or move out. Looks like your decision has been made for you, and your parents will have to go without your rent money. My house, my rules stuff. 4-year adult kids paying rent means rules like the following. You can't use that set of pots, pans, dishes ever, cause they are the fancy ones. You use the plain ones. Pre-rinse before it goes in the dishwasher, even if the instructions say you don't have to. Even a small chore like you have to bring in the trash cans from the curb every week cause we're old, you aren't. That's not that unreasonable if you otherwise have a good relationship. Yeah, I know rumored things, but a little odd. But it's your parents, so it's okay. Screen time or bedtime is not okay. Not in the realm of okay. You're not the a-hole at all. You're not the a-hole. Some parents can never adjust to seeing their kids grow up. I was in the military for 8 years until I separated and became a full-time student to finish my degree in engineering. I asked my dad if I could stay at his house while I finished my degree, and he was super excited about it and agreed in a heartbeat. He really loves his kids. I'm blessed. The first year went great. Then I went on my first summer break. Bit of background about me. I'm a severe introvert, and I spend almost all of my time at home. While I had classes, this didn't cause any issues, because I'd be at school 8-10 hours a day, but I guess during summer break me being home all day, every day got to him. I guess he felt my lifestyle was a little too similar to how I used to act when I was a teenager, because suddenly at 8 AM on a Monday morning I hear loud banging on my bedroom door. It's my father, and in his most stern tone he demands that, if I'm working, you're working. You need to find a job if you're not going to school. I was completely caught off guard. I had zero need to work, since I was getting a monthly housing allowance from my military benefits, plus I had a substantial amount of savings from my time in the military. I knew there was no arguing with him, so I said okay, then closed the door and immediately hopped on Craigslist to find a new place. By Thursday of that same week I had moved out of his house. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. This is very common when kids move back home as adults. Their parents still think of them as kids, and the adult who's been living away from home for years thinks that they are adults. Without having a discussion about expectations, before you move back home you and your parents don't agree about what the expectations are. If you feel inclined to try again, then you would need to have the expectations laid out exactly. But no, you're not the a-hole. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.